Hey, Dr. Kelly here. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I've been seeing in my practice in terms of anxiety as it relates to post-viral syndromes like long COVID. I'm also going to talk a little bit about mast cell activation syndrome. I am not an expert in post-viral syndromes or mast cell activation syndrome. I am somebody who sees a lot of people who come to me with anxiety or mental health issues. And so we are working on nutrition and lifestyle to help that. So I think it's helpful if you're a therapist, a nutritional therapist. I think it's helpful for us to be having these conversations or to be putting information about what we're seeing. Because sometimes I think what happens is that if we have anxiety, we think it's very situational. Sometimes people with chronic anxiety their whole lives think it's just kind of the way they're wired. That might actually not be true. You might not be wired that way at all. It could be a post-viral syndrome. It could be mast cell activation syndrome. It could be mold toxicity. It could be pyroluria, which is actually a genetic issue with the heme, our blood. So, which is nutrient deficiencies, like all these things that it could be. So I'm going to keep trying to put these videos out so that hopefully it'll be helpful not only to people who have anxiety or have mental health concerns, but also for therapists so that we can continue to learn as we go. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it if it could be helpful with anybody that you know. And if you haven't already done so, if you would please subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Happy healing. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly, and my doctorate is in counseling. Actually, all my degrees are in psychology or counseling. And then I went back to school to learn more about nutrition and became a nutritional therapist and a certified recovery nutrition coach and all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to talk about post-viral syndromes, if we can. We'll see. Really, I'm not interested in talking about what whether you did have a shot or you didn't have a shot, or got COVID and all that stuff. What I'm interested in talking about and helping people is with the anxiety and the mental health piece of that, because we're seeing a lot more anxiety. Depression seems to be about the same, to be honest, as what I'm used to seeing. But maybe that's just because that's my specialty. And so people are coming to me for that. But it actually, right after COVID first hit, so in 2020, a friend of mine who happens to be a dentist was asking me what I thought about this anxiety that was coming up for her. And it had this kind of doom flavor to it. And she is type A person, self-described type A person, personality type. So really kind of sharp, on top of things. Like I said, she's a dentist. She's a mom with 2 kids. I mean, doing the normal stress thing. And she always felt like her anxiety was kind of appropriate for the level of whatever she had going on. And this was just different after she had COVID. And so we talked a little bit about that. I recommended some amino acids to help take the edge off because I do amino acid therapy. We talked about L-lysine, which has some natural antiviral properties, which she was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. I am not opposed to medications for things, but people who come to me generally are looking for nutrition, supplements, and lifestyle changes. And I will tell you that the quantum techniques, so circadian rhythm, kind of fixing or realigning with your circadian rhythms, super helpful. Getting outside, earthing, early morning light, especially UVA light, really helps with mood and focus. So all of that's really important. The food piece seems to be important, really important for some people and just kind of important for other people, which is kind of interesting. And amino acids. So doing amino acid therapy has been helpful for people. But what I have been learning is more and more about post-viral syndromes and kind of the flavor of it has kind of an autoimmune flavor, but COVID in particular. So sometimes it's coming on after having the shots, and sometimes it's from having COVID or both of those things. But it's this anxiety with panicky and almost a little doom flavor. I must be really liking the word flavor today, right? I guess that's the only way I can describe it, as this kind of flavor of kind of this doom feeling. And it's so then it happened to me in 2021. But I thought it was really situational, and I didn't really start putting it together till this year, when more and more people started showing up with these same symptoms. And what I have discovered is that often it is undiagnosed mast cell activation syndrome. I've had a personal experience with that, so that's why I started studying that. And if you feel like you're just having a lot of reactions lately, like histamine reactions and a lot of anxiety, and that anxiety with that doom flavor with panic attacks, you might want to look into mast cell activation syndrome. The treatments, I'm really excited actually, because I think that long COVID is now too many people have it for it to get ignored. So unlike other post-viral syndromes like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, that kind of thing, there have been some really incredible researchers over the last 30 years, but it just hasn't gotten the funding that I think we are going to see with long COVID. So I think it's going to be really interesting. The bottom line is to help your nervous system in whatever ways you can to calm the nervous system down. So there are some medications that you could talk to your physician. They're not even prescription, over-the-counter stuff. I am not a medical professional. I deal with the more the nutrition and lifestyle part of mental health. So what I have found really, really helpful is the quantum stuff. So getting your minerals right, fixing your circadian rhythms. I don't know if fixing is the right word. Kind of realigning, honoring that light, dark cycle of the day, honoring the seasons, fixing your diet in a way that works for you. And what I have found is that's pretty individual, but a low histamine diet seems to be a good place to start, eating real whole foods, and whatever you have to do to get off the seed, oils, and the sugar really helps. But there are lots of different ways of eating that are helpful for people. And then red light therapy. So red light is actually available outside and you can go out there, and early morning light at sunrise, you've got that biggest concentration, which is really nice. But so sunrise and sunset are important. You can get red light throughout the day, but you can also biohack that. And I'm not against biohacking. I do all the things. I do the dry brushing, the red light therapy, the blue blockers. I should probably have on my blockers. These are my daytime yellows. I have red and orange for nighttime. I do all the things. And I think the red light therapy is really, really, really helpful, particularly for anxiety, which I'm just fascinated by that. Of course, I think, healing the gut, eating real food. I'm a carnivore, but carnivore doesn't work for everyone. I have found personally it's super, super helpful and more healing than I could have ever imagined. I'm still sort of blown away by that too. But none of my clients are carnivores. I don't think. I might have one now that is a carnivore. So you don't have to you don't have to want to be a carnivore to work with me. And it is not, it's really tricky because it's like post-viral syndromes, long COVID, in addition to the other like chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, has that cyclical thing going on. So that can be a little tricky, but there are lots of ways that we can help. So hopefully this is helpful. I did want to also just point out, I am reading Neil Nathan, who's a physician. His book, Toxic, is really, really good. And because where you find mast cell activation syndrome, you're going to, if you start digging there, you're going to find mold toxicity, Lyme disease, other things like that. But what I'm seeing in my practice is that it's long COVID, the people are getting diagnosed with long COVID, and that might be accurate, but they also seem to have more symptoms of mast cell activation syndrome. So, you know, for what it's worth, you can do a little digging there and see what resonates with you if you've got those symptoms. And of course, reach out if I could be of any help to any of you.